Hello, you beautiful people. Come craft with me. So, as I'm sure many of you know, today marks the first official day of Ramadan. Ramadan is a month in which Muslims fast from dawn until dusk from all food and drink, as well as any acts of immorality like cursing, fighting, etc. This month serves to teach us discipline, humility, and to be thankful for the things that we have. Ramadan, the following holiday known as Eid, and then another Eid in about 2 months are the main holidays that Muslims celebrate around the world. As a Muslim growing up in America, we've always struggled finding decorations for Eid. They're not really as prevalent as, say, Christmas decorations, and so I always got in the habit of making my own. And now you do have a couple of big box stores that do sell Ramadan decorations, and it is still kind of impressive and a little bit of culture shock to see those decorations in a store. But I've always been in the habit of making my own. So earlier today I was at Dollar Tree and I saw these beads and I thought immediately, why don't I make a misbaha? And a misbaha is not dissimilar to a rosary where they're prayer beads, and each bead, it sort of acts as a counter. After every prayer, we have 3 separate glorifications of God that we're supposed to say 33 times each. And so the beads came with 35, and I just took 2 that didn't look that great out. And the rest of them, I painted them gold so they can match the rest of the decor that I had. So here I am just giving them their first coat. I'm using a sponge, and I'm holding them up on a paintbrush just because it was getting really annoying to keep getting my fingerprints on them. First, I dip the bead in the gold paint. Then I prop it up on the paintbrush, and I use the sponge to smooth it out. And as I mentioned before, I did this 33 times, and then I did a second coat, so technically I did it 66 times. The paint that I used is Liquitex because I've had it since I was in school, but you could always use any cheaper craft paint that you want. I like to keep my projects as inexpensive as possible, so most of the stuff I have already. The reason I'm not actually painting with the paintbrush is because the bristles are just too hard and they leave streaks, and the sponge just made it look a lot softer. And yes, I do have a very curious guest hovering around. She wanted to know what I was up to. I can't imagine that paint smells very nice. Here we are after the second coat. I fast forwarded because I figured you guys didn't want to watch me do that 66 times. And I take a piece of white yarn and I'm stringing them through. I did like the string that the beads actually came with from Dollar Tree, but the problem with them was that the ends were tied into the bead and I had to cut them loose, and I really tried to untie them. So I just wound up using yarn instead. Here I am just counting them as I'm stringing them through. As you can see, I got the Midas touch. And I'm just fast forwarding it a little bit more because it's more of the same. But again, it's 33 pieces. I did dip the edge into Mod Podge to try to make it easier, and it was not easier. If I do this project again, I probably wouldn't use yarn. It was just so aggravating. I was originally going to coat them all in Mod Podge, but I didn't really like how it looked. And I wasn't about to do 33 of them to find out if I liked the final product, so I just went without it. Finally, I got them all on the string, and I go ahead and I tie it off to seal it as best as I can. And once that's done, I try my hand at making a tassel. I'm a little bit off camera, sorry. But I wrap a bunch of string around my hand a million times. I tie off the edge, and then I cut it from the bottom to give it that little flare. You can kind of see me cutting it there. And I used those strings that I tied up initially to close it off, and there's my tassel. And with that, my misbaha is complete. And here it is on display with the rest of my Ramadan decorations. As I mentioned before, everything is gold. Most of it I had from my old house. And there we are. I really like how it turned out. I just wish the tassel was a little bit smaller, so I'll definitely opt for that in the future. Thank you so much for watching, and Ramadan Kareem.